What exactly did Camron do to Chrissy LAMPKIN? No, what just spilled isn't a rumor, so you'd better settle down for this one. The real world is a complete apocalypse of reality TV. A DNA test just delivered a bomb that no one was prepared for after years of subtly disparaging cryptic songs and unresolved tension. Are Jim Jones and Chrissy truly going to be gone for good? Or has their entire relationship been a massive lie orchestrated by Harlem? Because a convoluted chain of removed Instagram posts, leaked direct messages, and unidentified sources all claim that Camron is Chrissy's child's biological father. And you know what? That arbitrary she claimed to have taken the medical exam for health reasons. Yes, a complete paternity test was conducted. And the outcomes are wilder than a security-free reunion episode, baby. Is this the controversy that ultimately destroys hip-hop, love, and Dipset forever? Or are we all watching reality TV checkers, and someone else is playing chess? This is more than just a mess, so you better grab some popcorn. It destroys relationships, destroys careers, and destroys legacies all at once. Oh, and Jim is still in the dark. Let's go back in time for a moment. Recall the time Chrissy LAMPKIN returned to Instagram looking radiant, as if she had just returned from a 30-year-old island vacation, a trust fund, and a football player. People were saying things like, "She looks refreshed." That glow isn't from skincare, and sis looks pregnant. Chrissy, of course, kept her composure, shared some old videos of herself and Jim Jones, and pretended that nothing was out of the ordinary. Not then, and most certainly not today. You see, something was simmering behind the scenes. Awkward silence, quiet looks, and unfollowing and refollowing one another like indecisive teens. Everything was accumulating into a potentially explosive event. Following the confirmation of a rumor by a DNA test that purports to link Camron, yes, Killer Cam himself, to a child Chrissy never even knew existed, the internet is currently in full meltdown mode. Made public? How did we get here then? In the first place, there has already been strange tension between Camron and Jim Jones. Years ago, the formerly impenetrable Dipset dynasty began to show signs of weakness. Something wasn't right, as evidenced by odd body language during public appearances, subliminals and freestyles, and cryptic disses during interviews. However, fans dismissed it. Brothers fight, they remarked. They say it's just politics in Harlem. It turns out that scandals involving babies and paternity testing were part of Harlem politics. This is where things start to get messy. According to sources close to Love and Hip Hop's production, reported that in late 2023, around the time Jim was filming his solo spin-off series, Chrissy and Camron were purportedly rekindling their old friendship. Is it a coincidence, or the ideal chance to discuss unresolved issues out of the spotlight? These insiders claim that since early 2022, Chrissy and Cam had been deeming each other. First, there was nothing explicit, just pleasant conversations, checking in and reminiscing about the past. However, it is said that as Chrissy started to vent her frustration at Jim's immaturity and emotional instability, the tone changed. It became hazy from there. One unidentified crew member claimed that after several late-night FaceTimes and sporadic meetings, he spent a whole weekend in Miami that no one was supposed to know about. But we all know now. The situation becomes more complicated when the same crew member claims that Chrissy returned from the Miami vacation acting strangely. She became aloof from Jim, defensive of her phone, and worst of all, began avoiding the cameras completely. Production was observed. Chrissy apparently declined Mona Scott's invitation to participate in a confessional interview. Claimed that she wasn't in the proper headspace. You don't say. After 3 months, Chrissy suddenly stops drinking in front of the camera, starts dressing more loosely, and has a mysterious breakdown while filming in which she accuses someone of betraying her confidence. She broke down crying when asked what that meant, sobbing and leaving the set. the scene was never broadcast. Why? Since personal medical information was mentioned without permission, it appears that legal prevented it from airing. What else would shout pregnancy if that didn't? This is where the twist hits you in the face, though, because it's about whose baby it is purported to be, not just about some secret baby. At this point, Camron enters the drama like a cyclone of turmoil wearing pink fur. Fans began to notice little errors. Some things you have to claim, even if they're messy. Camron wrote in a no-deleted Instagram story from February, "Real ones know what I mean." No one gave it much thought. One more mysterious chasm. But 2 days later, a burner account shared a grainy image of Chrissy and Cam at a secret clinic in Jersey. Both of them wearing masks and sweatshirts and obviously trying not to be noticed. After being reported for violating someone's privacy, the message had already been screenshotted and circulated like a frenzied rumor at a church barbecue. The timing is also a factor. One Twitter user said, "If that's Cam and Chrissy at a lab, I swear Harlem has officially eaten itself." Another said, "Jim was out here doing weather reports with Fat Joe, while his girl was doing maternity visits with Cam. Say it isn't so." Jim shared a video that same week of the rumors were in full swing as he was rapping in the studio, saying, "I've been betrayed by those close, but I never show it. Harlem's still mine. I just don't always know it." Blogs were whirling. Threads on Reddit went crazy. The fall of Jim and Chrissy, a timeline of deceit, DNA, and dipet were all full PowerPoint presentations available on TikTok. However, it wasn't a terrible contest, and that was the final nail in the coffin. Let's just say that Cam smiled as he went. She cried as she walked away. Now stop. Take a moment to process that. Grinning, Cam walked away. Chrissy cried as she walked out. Additionally, Jim is totally ignorant that there is a child involved whose paternity purportedly stems from the most unpredictable rapper in Harlem. He was, at least then, because someone was going to reveal everything, whether Chrissy wanted to or not, and what follows turns this from simply another celebrity betrayal into a full-fledged psychological drama. It wasn't Mona either. Cam wasn't the one. Mama Jones was the one. That's Mama Jones, indeed. A former VH1 intern apparently told Mama Jones about the scenario weeks ago when she ran into her, believing Mama was already aware of it. It's crazy how Cam has been sneaking around with Chrissy like nobody, the intern allegedly added. Mama Jones allegedly responded, "Come again?" You can imagine how quickly that conversation turned into a 4-minute voice memo with too many profanities too. Count? According to sources, Mama Jones confronted Jim that same evening, roaring, "Your girl is pregnant, and it's not yours," as she banged on his condo door. Security became involved after the neighbors heard it. Jim initially didn't believe her, but curiosity kills loyalty. So he did what any suspicious man in denial would do. He looked through Chrissy's phone while she was sleeping and discovered the audio notes, screenshots, and the hidden folder labeled Miami. Jim was sitting quietly, staring at his phone as if it had just stabbed him in the chest when the whole truth hit him. There were timestamped selfies of Chrissy and Camron at a fancy condo in that hidden folder, as well as a video of them on a yacht. With Cam shirtless, Chrissy laughing, and someone saying, "Y'all go make a beautiful baby," in the background. The audio notes struck much more forcefully after Jim rewound the movie 8 times. One of them was Cam saying, "I meant what I said last night. I have you covered no matter what." Whispering, "I'm afraid it's yours." Another Chrissy says, "Boom." According to sources close to the building staff, at 3:47 a.m., security was called for a domestic verbal escalation after Jim allegedly smashed a wine glass against the kitchen wall and woke Chrissy up mid-sleep. And then everything went haywire. No police were called, but Chrissy was seen leaving 20 minutes later in sweats and slippers, visibly shaken, heading toward an Uber SUV. The real twist is that Jim didn't stop at the phone snooping. No. Harlem pride doesn't fold like that. He allegedly hired a private investigator to follow Cam's movements, Chrissy's calls, and anything that could prove this wasn't just a drunken mistake, but an ongoing betrayal. The Pie Report, according to our source, was 47 pages long. Do you see where this is going? And let's face it, Chrissy isn't some wide-eyed 22-year-old who got caught up. She's a grown woman who's been with Jim for decades, sticking through arrests, financial difficulties, his refusal to marry her for, like 15 years. And the one time Jim finally pops the question on national TV, she says no. Page 34 shows Cam dropping off a wrapped package at Chrissy's cousin's apartment. The same cousin who is allegedly helping her stay under the radar during this whole mess. Enter Camron, stage left, wearing a fur coat and a smirk. Cam has been eerily silent throughout this, posting a clip from the old Dipset I Really Mean It video last week with the caption, "Some bonds break, some just evolve." Now people are wondering if she was ever truly loyal or if she was simply waiting for an exit strategy. Fans went crazy, with one remark reading, "Is Cam confirming the affair without confirming the affair?" In any case, I'm still standing. The most Camron thing ever is that another. This is similar to a man having a mixtape, but this is when the scandal turns into something dangerous. And Twitter, a crime scene. Chrissy Dunn got pregnant by Jim's best friend. This is the Dipset. Endgame. Someone get Tyler Perry on the phone. This isn't even reality TV anymore. This is Shakespeare with wigs and chains. Cambella posted a cryptic prayer emoji and a photo of wine with the caption, "Some women drink water." Since Chrissy allegedly didn't go home after leaving Jim's condo that night, she went straight to Cam's place and hasn't returned. The internet went crazy. Some people consume alcohol. Consequences, make an informed decision. Tahiri wrote, "You guys forgot that these Harlem boys are unique. They don't know what loyalty is." And then came the audio leak. A voice recording allegedly of Jim Jones crying and talking to an unknown friend surfaced online. He can be heard saying, "I should have never trusted him, bro. He understood my feelings for her. Both she and he were aware. It wasn't no accident." That's what hurts. The clip spread like wildfire, with some fans sympathizing, others clowning, and a few raising questions like, "Why is everyone did you forget that Jim had cheated on Chrissy in public at least 7 times? We'll have to wait and see, but rumors have it that Camron is planning a Talal podcast episode called Confessions of a Harlem Gentleman, in which he will allegedly clear the air and set the record straight. Specifically, will he set the record straight that he slept with his friend's long-term fiancée, that he might have a baby on the way with her, or that the Dipset chain has officially been melted down into baby toys? Both of these claims are unconfirmed. Chrissy is said to be extremely emotional, but she is standing by her decision. According to one insider, Chrissy told them, "I'm not proud of how it went down, but I won't apologize for choosing peace." Cam feels no remorse. According to a source close to him, Cam isn't apologizing for anything. He said Jim wasn't real with him in the first place, so why maintain a phony friendship? Peace, ma'am. You're hiding in Camron's guest room while the internet erupts all around you. That's witness protection, not peace. The baby is supposedly due in September if the timeline aligns. There has been no announcement or gender reveal. No pictures of the baby shower, just chaos and silence. Jim, he's gone ghost. He removed a number of Instagram posts, disabled comments, and canceled a public appearance at a club in Brooklyn, citing mental health issues. However, fans are calling for a public showdown, asking for Jim versus Cam, Harlem versus Harlem, Baby versus Blunt, and VH1 foaming at the mouth. According to insiders, a multi-million-dollar offer is already on the table for an exclusive televised sit-down between Chrissy, Cam, and Jim, with Mama Jones serving as the surprise moderator. Would it happen? Could it happen? Or would the truth just make things worse? Speaking of truth, the Harlem drama turns into a full-fledged legal drama at that point because, just when you think it can't get any more toxic, Tanya J, Camron's ex from his Purple Haze era, shows up out of nowhere with an Instagram live that left everyone speechless. She is seen sipping wine in a silk robe and declaring, "I'm not going to stay quiet anymore." Tanya J once claimed to have helped Cam build his early mixtape empire and was ride or die before the money hit. This phony Harlem dude is being worshipped by you all. However, let me reveal to you Cam's true nature: cunning, manipulative. And people began to speculate, was Tanya just clinging and bitter, or did she know something we don't? Because within 48 hours, she posted purported text messages between her and Cam from just 4 months ago, one of which said, "Cam, you always had my back." Chrissy wasn't the first person he used, and she won't be the last. She better hope that baby even makes it here healthy with all this stress. There's turmoil with these new gals. Come home, Tanya, and stop chasing toxic women. That's correct. Tanya claims that Cam continued to have sex with her, although Chrissy was already pregnant. This is where things truly go south. A cease and desist letter purportedly sent by Camron's legal team to Tanya was leaked by a gossip page. And it orders Tanya to stop spreading false information, defamatory content, and unauthorized communications that suggest paternity conflicts or infidelity narratives involving Camron Giles. Now, stop. If there's nothing to hide, why send a legal threat? That's the million-dollar question. Jim's camp apparently took notice because a day after Tanya's live, Jim Jones's legal team formally requested the original DNA report, citing the implications of paternity fraud, defamation by association, and emotional damages. Wait, what? Paternity fraud? Yes. According to sources close to VH1, Chrissy initially refused a second test when VH1 producers requested it for insurance reasons. It also seems that Camron backed out, saying, "I already know what it is. What if the test was tampered with? What if this whole circus was a setup? What if Chrissy fabricated the results to manipulate Cam into protecting her while trying to emotionally destroy Jim? It sounds too crazy to be true. My heart already knows, and I don't need a test to confirm it." On TikTok, that single line went viral, with some people labeling it romantic and others labeling it insane. Bro thinks he's in a Netflix drama. One TikTok creator said after stitching the video, "Nah, fam, this is love and hip-hop. Maury edition." Meanwhile, Mama Jones. She's reportedly organizing a prayer circle press conference in Harlem this weekend to bring clarity, spiritual healing, and expose the real enemy. When asked who the real enemy is, she simply said, "You'll see. They are aware of their identity." "I prepared the ancestors to speak." She then gave a wink. Ancestors, lawyers, and ex-partners. Yes, there are layers to this issue. Jim Jones isn't sitting around sobbing in private, though. Information about the he has been seen on the street with Camilla. Yes, the former partner of Jules Santana was on what appeared to be a comfortable late-night meal in Soho. Fans saw them strolling side by side in hazy paparazzi pictures. Camilla is wearing fur and heels. Jim is wearing sunglasses and a fitting cap as if it were midnight, and the internet is now divided. Is this act of retaliation a rebound? Or is Jim attempting to protect his own story before the next storm strikes? Guess who else just entered the chat? So it's already here. Young Mona Scott. According to a recently leaked email purportedly sent by Mona's office to VH1 execs, she is rethinking the Love and Hip Hop franchise and intends to create a whole spin-off series centered on Jim fallout and Chrissy Cam. Harlem Reckoning, Love and Lawsuits is the working title. A legal in-depth with famous lawyers live-streamed private therapy sessions. Camron's journey as a father, Jim Jones's emotional return, Chrissy's redemption story, and Mama Jones serving as the show's narrator and spiritual advisor are all included in the pitch. It would be similar to Game of Thrones. Bro, if Fashion Nova and Hennessy were the sponsors? However, the issue still stands. Is Chrissy safe in any of this? According to insiders, she has been receiving threats to permanently leave Harlem, both online and supposedly from unidentified sources. Chrissy is reportedly refusing to accept VH1's offer of relocation protection and a private security detail. Refusing to keep quiet. If this baby really comes in its cams, the legacy of Dipset is officially shattered. There's no studio reunion, no mixtape resurrection, and no comeback tour. Just 3 ex-lovers, 1 scandal, and a Harlem community. Split right down the middle. Fans have already begun taking sides, and hashtags are trending. Team Chrissy, Dipset dead. Jim deserved better. Jocked Cam got next, and DNA Orn. And now there's talk of a Harlem town. An anonymous source, close to Chrissy, said, "This isn't just tea. This is an ocean of espresso shots." A town hall about a reality scandal presented by a local podcast network to discuss the cultural impact of the betrayal. According to a leaked memo from the firm, Cam has reportedly hired a celebrity crisis PR team to help manage the fallout, reframe the narrative, focus on fatherhood, emphasize growth, and use Harlem nostalgia to rebuild public trust. What comes next? Do we hold off till a baby pic is dropped? Should we wait for Jim to go live and reveal everything at last? Or should we wait for VH1 to profit from this catastrophe like they always do? There's no denying that the harm has been done. Harlem might never be the same after the public betrayal. We may be witnessing the most explosive celebrity triangle of the decade. As the baby countdown has begun, exes are talking and legal filings are flying. If this infant is real, that is. The kid, the treachery, the DNA drama, the ex-partners, the phony loyalty, the public scrutiny, the spiritual battle, and the legal battle are all now in the open. Was this all a part of a larger strategy? We had to ask. Jim was out here playing loyalty. Was Chrissy playing chess? Was Cam really the one who saved the day? Did he just manage to pull off the ultimate checkmate? Not to mention that DNA test. If it's true, Cam is once more a parent to the one lady Jim never thought he would have. What was the purpose of this spectacle, though? If it's phony, was it retaliation? A diversion? Highly public contract negotiation? The timelines seem incongruous. The tales don't line up. And Jim's quiet was deafening. Through leaks, mayhem, and viral missiles, rather than a documentary, we are witnessing the fall of a Harlem dynasty in real time. What comes next? Then, will Chrissy disappear? The baby belongs to Jim? Will he battle for custody? Will Camron's poignant album about forgiveness and fatherhood change the course of events? This isn't simply gossip anymore, so you tell me. Legacy is what this is. It's war. And this is just the start. Leave a comment below with your opinions. Who do you think is responsible? Is Jim able to forgive? Does Cam need to retake the test? Is Chrissy the victim or the bad guy? You won't want to miss the next chapter in this Harlem controversy. So please make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell.